Hey everybody, today I have a review video of these colored pencils, the Arrtx 126 colored pencils. I work a lot with colored pencils, but I usually do not share tutorials with them. I just use them quite often in my sketchbook. I will show you some examples later. Let's come to these first. The packaging, very interesting. I made an unboxing video and I posted this on Instagram and also on my shorts. And yeah, it's not my favorite packaging, I have to say, because I don't like to have the pencils as close as these are, and these ones in the middle, it's very hard to get those out, to find the right color. I prefer to have a storage that is flat, maybe with more layers where the pencils lay flat. So that's my preference. But I have to say, I store my pencils like this. So color wise, in just a jar, and I do not mind the brand. I go for colors, so it's not that important for me. That would not be an issue for buying these, but I would prefer the other packaging, the usual one for color pencils. They stand up quite nicely, and they also do not fall to any side when you put them out. Well, you can move them around, but usually they stay in their place. That might be useful if you keep them in their packaging, but I bet once they get smaller it will be really difficult to reach them. And when I talk about smaller, I have these kind of pencils and smaller ones very often, and that would be really difficult to find. Then you can't see it, can you? No, not possible. So the packaging is not my favorite, but that would never be a thing I would decide on buying pencils, so that's not important. I've swatched the colors already, and I'm going to show you the color chart here. I'm not sure, I maybe can zoom in a little bit more so you can see it better. That the colors that are in here are quite nice. There are a lot of colors that I really like, such as these neutral ones here. They are super pretty. I love that one and this one. Very useful colors. You also get grays in different shades and warm and cool. That's what I also really like. Here are 3 browns that look exactly the same to me. That one is a little bit different compared to this one. Also, this one is just a little bit cooler. So these 4 colors, I would say you just need one. I love these brown reds here. Very nice colors, and there are also a lot of greens in here that I really like, that are neutral and not as bright. They can be used in landscapes and in more nature-based images. I'm not a fan of this one or this and this or these here. That's not my favorite color. Also that one I don't like. I'm a bit picky with greens, but here that's kind of a green gold. It's called old gold, but it looks like the Faber-Castell green gold. There is a chromium oxide green, which is quite similar to the olive green. That's a fern green. It just has another name on that color chart, which I, by the way, downloaded from the Arrtx website. Many pretty greens. I can't complain about that. I love that aubergine purple. I really like when I have some really nice dark intense colors like these 2, that one. Also here, that the blue line here. very nice. I'm not a fan of purples, but that's just my taste. I don't like purples and I don't really like pinks. I like some of these more off pinks that are on the reddish side, I would say. I like these light colors. Here the light reds and the orange, they are quite similar. I feel there is missing a red in between that poppy red and the cadmium orange deep, because the carmine red is quite dull. It's a bit pale, I would say. So there I'm missing a red, but I'm also not a person who uses a lot of reds. So there are some really nice blues in here. Some are quite similar, like these two, that one and this one and that. Also not very different. Here also that cerulean blue is a bit more brighter, that cornflower blue is a bit more muted. That one is one I really like. I also love these two colors, very pretty, and I also love the pastel blue. Yeah, the color selection is gorgeous. You also get some neon colors. They are nice. I really like to use those to make some pre-drawings, for example. And here that green is also very pretty. It's like the earth green from Faber-Castell, which is one of my favorite colors. You get a white, which I haven't tested so far, but we will do that. So color-wise, I like these, the pencils. I think often when you buy some cheaper pencils at the discounter, that then you get a lot of childlike colors, just the usual ones, and here you have really a lot colors that are natural, that can be used in other ways than for children drawings. So hi, I'm back. For you it was just a second, but I played around 2 weeks with these pencils. And what I did at first was I picked out my favorite 36 pencils from this set, and I mainly drew with them and played with them, because 126 is just too much. I think it's just something I personally do not need. If you're into coloring books, that might be something you definitely like to have, a big selection of different colors. But I usually work with a certain palette. Sometimes I change things up and swatch, move things around. And for these 2 weeks, I mainly played with this set. These are definitely my favorite colors of the set, and I put the rest of them into a tin. The packaging is just not usable. I don't like it. I don't understand why they do such a weird packaging for these pencils. I think they would look much better in a metal tin. Yeah, but not in the packaging they come in, but maybe they will change this in the future. Finally, I can say I am happy with these pencils. I enjoyed playing with them, and this is the thing that is most important for me. Do I enjoy working with the product, and does the product work for what I like to have? They did not work in all cases, and I will show you that, but mainly I was really happy. And the thing I don't like, but that doesn't work for me, is that the lighter colors don't show up on darker backgrounds. It's just too weak for me. But I have to say that even some of my other pencil brands, I don't pick them to work over the top of darker colors. I pick certain pencils to work over the top of darker colors. So Let's see what I have done with them. I will make a little drawing demo with them, and I will also put them in comparison to some pencils, and I will start with that. What I often saw on YouTube is that these were compared to the Prismacolor pencils. I have never used a Prismacolor pencil, and I don't own any Prismacolors because they are not available in Germany. Not very easy, and I don't want to buy a big set of them. And I think it's also not fair to compare a 56-cent pencil to a polychromo pencil, which is around €2, I think. It's also not fair to compare it to a luminance because it will just lose the battle. So I picked some pencils that are quite close price-wise, or where I say they are not better but more expensive. I put to the test, obviously, the Arrtx, and I picked blues that are close color-wise. I picked an Arrtx, which I could not find anymore on Amazon, so I'm not sure if they are still available. They have the watercolor pencils, and there is one 88 cents, so I think the same would be for the colored pencils. And the Arrtx also come in a 120 set. I picked a Koh-i-Noor Polycolor pencil, which is on Amazon in a 48 set, one pencil, 64 cents. I picked a Goldfarber. It's also a water-soluble pencil, so maybe not the right comparison, but that was the only cheaper one from Faber-Castell I had. And there's also one pencil in a 48 set for 85 cents. And what I also picked are two from Derwent. Colors I really like are the Derwent Chroma Flow, and there are €1 and 25 cents in a 72 set. And I picked the Color Soft, which I could not find on Amazon, but in my online art supply store they cost €2.19. And you will see why I picked this one. Let's start with the Arrtx. I'm starting at the back here because it's on my most used drawing paper, which is the Art Creations Royal Talens Sketchbook. And I am not a person that does colored pencil drawings with layering and shading. I like to use them heavy-handed with mixed media, and that's the reason why I've added some layers down to play over the top of. And this is a water brush pen. It's an Ecoline in black, in brown, and that's an acrylic marker from Montana in orange. And I like to see how these show up on a darker color because that's quite important for me, and also on different surfaces. Let's go for the Arrtx. For the feel, they are very soft in application, not scratchy, and I could not find any scratchy ones. And also sharpening works very well. And I also like that they are quite thick. Compared to this one, it's so thin. I really love a thicker pencil. I don't think that the barrel is bigger here. Maybe this is even bigger. I don't know. Maybe they are the same. The Arrtx, not better. I would say it's a bit worse compared on the dark surface. And here it looks quite similar. They are similar in softness, I would say. on a light background, I don't see a difference. I think the Arrtx are better on a darker background. Let's go for the Koh-i-Noir Polycolor. It's harder than the other two, and you can see it in some ways it shows up a bit more, but it's also transparent. And here you can see that the application is not even. It's very chunky, and you also have a lot of dust from them on the paper. That does not happen with these. The texture here is quite interesting. So in mixed media, for me, it would not be, I would not say I would not use them. What I don't like with them is that the wood is very bad. It's breaking a lot. Application wise, I prefer the other two because they are much softer. But talking about the texture, these are interesting. But maybe not good for coloring books because they are more messy. They don't give you an even surface. So that's something that's different from person to person. Let's go for the gold Faber. I think it might show up lighter than these two. It's a bit softer than the Koh-i-Noir, but harder than the Arrtx and the Arrtx. And there the orange blend, it blends more through, so you get a more interesting mixture here. They are okay, but not as buttery as the other two, the Arrtx and the Arrtx, and yeah. Now let's go for the Color Soft, which is the most expensive one I compare here, and you will see why I compare it. Do you see that? It's just a light layer over the top of. The application is soft, but it's not even, and it's very translucent. It might be interesting texture-wise, but it's so less pigmented. I can't even get a really dark color onto my paper. And even if this is an ultramarine blue, so it's not a light blue or something like that. So I think price-wise, this one is the worst pencil compared to all the others. From the thickness of the pencil itself, it's similar to the Arrtx. So I like to have this in my hands. And last comes the Chroma Flow. And there is not much difference between the Arrtx. Okay, they look so similar on the darker background. And I think also that is a bit similar. And also the application is soft. Very close, I would say. Very close to the Arrtx. What I don't like about the Durban Chroma Flow, they are so thin and they are breaking a lot. The Arrtx don't break a lot, and they are thicker. I don't like a thin pencil. I like it a bit thicker. Now let's go to the drawings I have already made. I worked with these pencils. Let's see, where did I start using them? I think I start now. Here, that must be the first swatches I made. And here I started using them in a mixed media drawing. That's also the Arrtx. I bet I used it here And also here the outlines are made with pencil. I used it on this owl, and I really like that soft texture over the top of the brush pens. The dark outline is not with the Arrtx, and also the white spots are not made with the Arrtx. And that's where I will show you this, where I prefer another pencil, working really light over dark. And here I started noting down which colors I've used, and I've used exclusively the Arrtx color pencils within this mixed media painting. And I have to say I had quite a lot of fun with them, especially when I used them just on their own. And it's really nice to sketch outside when we have nice weather, and just take these 36 pencils I have put together and then do some drawing outside. And I also used them on this pigeon. I used them here together with brush pens underneath. And I also used them on this bird. And I used them for some sketches on the couch. That's not with a pencil, but I used them for some sketching. They are nice. I can't say anything against them. Just that one thing, that the light colors do not show up on darker backgrounds. Let me try this out for you. Let's go with that dark brown again. That's what I use also a lot in my work. Light colors over dark backgrounds. I'm picking some out of the light ones here. Maybe these, maybe a warm one too, that one. They are so beautiful, and I also love that the whole pencil has its color. I find it very hard with these, for example, the chroma flows only have that color in the end. Same with the Posca, same with the Inktense. And it's so hard to find them when I have them all in a tin to see which brand it is, and I think it's so hard to see it at first sight. And what I also don't like are, for example, the luminance. They are all wood, and there's a little bit of the color at the end, and especially when you have dark tones, or maybe also with light, but I don't have any lights of the luminance. It's so similar. You can't see which color you are picking, and you have to read what's on there, and you cannot read the name because it's written so small. You maybe can see the number, but then you also don't know which color it is, and I don't like that. And that's nice about the Arrtx. You see what you get. Something that could be a bit better is the writing on here, because it's also so small, hard to read on some pencils. It's in metallic silver. It's good to read on the blue one, but it's not so good on a color like this, or even a lighter color or a grayish color. There, it's really hard to read which color you have. Okay, now let's see how they work over the top of this dark brown. The white is almost okay, but look at that gray. That's a bit better, but you can't see the color. It's almost white. And that's just I'm not happy with the light colors. Let's compare it to some other brands so you can see the difference. Oh, I have one of the Color Soft, which was the worst here. Let's see how I like. Yeah, that's better. That's the Color Soft in a light color. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, it's maybe not fair. A Posca. They are like oil pastels. They are not as a usual color pencil. They are similar to an oil pastel, just as a pencil, I would say. My favorite to work over the top of dark colors is the Derwent Drawing, because that's an opaque pencil. And that's where I think you cannot say I don't buy the set because the light pencils don't work over dark. Because I can't say that, because I usually work always with the Derwent Drawing over the top of darker colors. I also don't use the polychromos for that. Yeah, that's just the difference for me. Let's see, we have a, sorry, we have a Chroma Flow in a light color. Let's see if we find a comparable color here. That's too dark. Maybe this one. Oh, it looks a bit similar. Yeah, and there you can see the difference. But again, it's not fair to compare a €1 and 25 euro pencil to a 56-cent pencil. And this is me back with a voiceover drawing a cute duck with only the pencils. That's something I almost never do, because I usually always play with mixed media. But since I have been using these pencils, I did even more just pencil drawings, and I so enjoyed that, especially in the evening on the couch, drawing from the Morten Hilmer live stream. It's so much fun, and I really enjoy these pencils. You can go to my Instagram page, to my Sketchbook Instagram, to see more photos of the drawings I did with only these pencils. And I will also post them to my blog, I think, as well as the color charts, of course. In the end, I would say my recommendation would be, if you don't have already a lot of colored pencils and you planning to starting out with colored pencils or trying them out, these are really good to start with. I would definitely recommend it. They are not available open stock, so if you are then running out on a certain color and you need a replacement, then I would just recommend getting yourself something open stock, like the Faber-Castell pencils. They are quite good, or the Derwent Chroma Flow are quite similar to these. So you can build a nice collection of your favorite colors. Yeah, that's what I can say. It's also a perfect gift, I would say, for an art interested teenager, or maybe also a kid if it loves to draw a lot, because they are not expensive and they are really fun to use. They are not hard, not scratchy, they are buttery. The only thing I didn't like is that the light colors are not very opaque on darker backgrounds. That's the only thing I have, but I think for that price you maybe cannot expect it. Yeah. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this little review video. If you have any questions, just post them in the comments and I will try to answer these. I hope you enjoyed that little drawing. And I hope we will see us next time. Bye.